about why we should care as a nation for the regime and the communist regime in Cuba to fall?
Well, first, let me just say briefly on Venezuela, I think we're better off than we were just 5 months ago. This was 5 months ago. We're not where we need to be. A lot more work needs to happen and needs to be done, and that needs to conclude with free and fair elections, and the conditions for that need to be created. So, but we certainly feel like Venezuela no longer poses the threat to our national interests that they did just 5 months ago when it was run by someone who openly cooperated with narco-trafficking cartels and, in fact, ran one himself. In the case of Cuba, the proximity alone makes it relevant. But you have a failed state 90 miles from our shores that hosts both Russian and Chinese intelligence apparatus within their country that has a long history of supporting violent leftist Marxist groups in the region and anti-American groups in the region as well, and have been a destabilizing force for 67 years. But just the existence of a failed state that's friendly to our adversaries in our own hemisphere is in and of itself a national security situation. Now, I would say this about Cuba. We want Cuba to be a country that can enjoy the same things they do in Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas, most of the Caribbean, all of the Caribbean bases for the most part. The problem they have is that the country's not even run by a government. The country's run by a military conglomerate named Gaesa that controls 70% of the GDP of the country. And all the money they generate, they're sitting on $18 billion of assets. Not a single penny of the money that conglomerate generates transfers over to the national treasury. That means it doesn't build bridges, it doesn't build roads, it doesn't build schools, it doesn't do any of it.
Well,
It all goes in, and that's what we need to tackle.
Right.
And those are the people that have to agree to normalize Cuba to the world and to its neighbors in the United States.
Right. Well, God bless your efforts to do that. I think Venezuela and Cuba going from the communist column to what you described would be a great advancement for our hemisphere and the people of those countries.